Hello, everyone, or no one, or everyone. Hello, everyone.
Anyone?
Yeah. Welcome to the Jolly and Megs Show, where we talk about anything we freaking want to talk about. And tonight we're talking about The Walking Dead. I hear it.
Yeah, and I'm not jolly right at the moment.
You're snowed up. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, so it's snowed up tonight. Jolly's celebrating, just big Seahawk win, so he's over there taking shots and getting wasted. So I thought I'd step in for him tonight.
Yeah, he's a substitute. And we have Fanaddicts. Why don't you introduce yourself?
How's it going, everyone? My name is Ben, and I went to Fanaddicts of Film. Thanks so much. I used to do tons and tons of Walking Dead reviews on my channel, and now if I put out a review, it gets demolished. It gets smothered in my channel. So I literally, I spent like 3 or 4 hours on my Walking Dead review videos, and they got like 32 views. It was just insanely. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But it was like, it's YouTube just snuffing up. It's because I had a negative. It's because I didn't like the episode. That's why. And so they just smother. There's like it's like, you do realize I'm just all anyway. Okay, it was just really lame. Because I think I was calling it Deliverance because they literally in one episode they had several people talking about how people's mouths were so pretty at the beginning of the season.
Is that ridiculous? That is ridiculous, though. I agree.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. They had I forgot his name. It's the new doctor who's studying under I forgot his name.
I don't watch Doctor Who. I couldn't tell you.
No, it's the new doctor who's studying under our good friend who was friends with Carl right before Carl died, and it was and I'm looking up his name. Gosh darn it, and it's just frustrating me here. But go ahead.
PTSD guy, the PTSD guy.
Yes, he's the guy who's dealing with which actually his story in this episode was very interesting. He's probably the most elusive because I don't know whether he's,
Did we see Enid?
Sorry?
Did we see Enid? Like towards the end, I could have sworn we saw a glimpse of like Enid, like now there's some crazy bit of storyline that we don't know about with the Whispers and him and Enid.
Now, wait! Before we start diving in here, okay.
Sorry.
Did you get caught up, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all talking about the same episode and stuff because it sounded like Ben was talking about 2 episodes ago, and we were talking about right now. So okay.
Well, I was just merely because the only reason I was talking about last like a while ago is because I was just pissed that my other videos got demolished and not watched. Because YouTube. That's the only reason. But yeah, I know I'm caught up and yeah, I'm very familiar with what's going on now.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Sorry, everybody.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, of course.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I was mad that I couldn't do the last review with you guys last time, but it's definitely stepping up. I mean, it's why can't I find his goddamn name? But anyway, I think that in general, the 2 people who I'm most interested in, and I would actually almost accept it at this point, are Norman Reedus and of course, our Daryl and Carol are those 2. I could see them getting together now at this point. And everybody's, I don't know if what you guys feel about that, but I don't care. We don't need to ship people, right? I don't care about that stuff.
No, they're like brother and sister. I don't know how I feel about that.
They've been through a lot, that's for sure.
Well, the 2 of them, they had a moment where in this episode he gave her a long look, and I mean it seemed like it could just be something else, but you can tell that they're close, and actually, I'd celebrate it if they didn't. I would love it if they didn't put them together, but it's one of those things. So
wasn't Carol shipping Daryl and the deaf girl when they were talking at one point?
Yeah, she was. She was like, you need to get with her, and he's like,
I think that's what's going to happen.
I think you're so spot on. I think that's exactly what they're trying to do because he's been the one that's been most receptive to her debacle and to her experience and to everything that she's. For me personally, and I've never dealt with anyone who's deaf, but to me, does it seem like they're kind of interpreting her deafness in a bizarre way? Does anybody see that? Because when she's hunting for the hog, there's this like she's almost experiencing the same PTSD almost.
She's not typically deaf. She's not usually her sister's deaf. She knows sign language and stuff because she communicates with her sister.
Okay, so
her getting the deafness is like a new thing. Like I think that's like something that's new, and it's like result of some new injury or something like that.
I missed that then. Okay, well then now I thank you for clearing that up. That makes a whole lot more sense now because and if it is, I mean if that's what it is, it's I try to interpret because she's just first dealing with it. She's doing her hunting, and then she snuck up by some walkers, and that was kind of interesting. But anyway, yeah. So yeah.
Sure. Well, let's say hello to the chat because we got some fellas in there. We got Stefan. Stefan's in there.
Hail Stefan.
Yeah. Hello, Mad Max. Max movie talk.
Mad Max.
And Butterfingers. Butterfingers is in there. And Kermit. Hello, Kermit. We meet again.
Sorry, Kermit.
Sir Kermit.
Kermit's kind of mad at me right now.
It's good. It's because you're rivals. Because all of a sudden you're rivals from Monday Night Football, right?
Just for today, and I get the opportunity to. We made a bet, and whoever lost gets to pick for the other person a $2 super chat to give to somebody. So now I got to pick somebody for Kermit to give a $2 super chat to.
I just have to tell you guys, this episode was really, I mean, it gave Negan a lot of opportunities to throw in his one-liners. Like he's like I'm a joiner. Give me an application already.
He was hilarious.
It was great to see him, kind of shine and get to be himself again, rather than a subdued Negan vegan.
I loved him.
Well, he was vegan Negan because they didn't give him none of that good pig.
That's right. That's right.
I would have been pissed.
All the work.
Sorry about that.
And that comes to the worst part of the episode, in my personal opinion. That moment where they are so they're, to me personally, I've loved this show for many, many years, and they've always inserted music. They've always used music that works in some spots, but this montage, sorry, but it was horrible. They add in this like 60s boogaloo music. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Boogaloo music.
It's this montage where they're showing
what time reference are you referencing to?
I'm talking about when Negan is trying to, it's the
shoveling and such.
Yeah, the shoveling and the I gotta get my, it's this whole like it's 60s boogaloo stuff that belongs in another show, but does not belong in The Walking Dead. I'm sorry.
Did I switch the channel? Did I sit on the remote? Like, what's going on here? Like.
And I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to stretch the show out a little bit, but they're eliminating the core value, the core feeling, the core tone of what this show has always been, which is this, scary, apocalyptic, just death knell of possibilities. And I don't know. He just that the music is this. It's the wrong type of music. If you want to make a montage, great. If you want to make him thirsty to join the Whispers and try to be one of them, great. But don't use that. It was just the wrong music. That's just my opinion.
I liked how he just like messed with Beta the whole time. He was just like poking the bear the entire time. Like, it was great.
That was great to see them rival off against each other for sure. Yeah.
Well, I guess they're homies in real life, so it's funny to you can definitely see their chemistry on screen. I believe you can see their chemistry on.
I mean, he has.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Didn't mean to butt in. I was just gonna say I want to jump on the comic side of it a little bit, just to let everybody know that the show is really staying on track with the Negan storyline and the Alpha storyline almost to a T. and I am really enjoying this, and I really hope they do the comic justice and give us the scene that I think they're going to do. So I don't want to give any spoilers away, but this is about to get good.
That's good to know. I always love hearing from someone who reads the comic, and because I mean that's you I mean the real, that's the real thing, that's the incarnation of the show is the comic, and so I love hearing about that. That's good to hear. That's really good to hear.
It's the original source material, and it was a lot more dedicated, of course, in the first few seasons. A few things got switched around, obviously, but
right.
They wanted to do that to keep the comic fans coming back, and then of course, it had its heyday back around, I want to say, basically when Negan came in, I think was its peak, during that time. But since then it's withered away a little bit, but I'm enjoying these last, I would say this season so far has been better than I expected so far. There's been a couple of lame ones, but as a whole, I really enjoy this season so far. And then it looks like they're building up for that cliffhanger moment, because we only got 2 more episodes, so 2 more of these reviews till we go on a hiatus.
Yeah, it's episode 6.
My favorite one of my favorite one-liners from this episode: "Cool your tits there, Jolly Green Giant." It's so perfect. It's just so casual about it. And then right after that, they have their little snafu. Forgive me, we have Beta and Negan, and so he's telling them to be quiet the whole time. This whole moment, he's telling them to be quiet. Basically, you're just too loud. Constant noise. That's your problem, Negan. You don't shut the F up. And I love it how he's like, okay, fine, I'm going to let you see. And he pulls the blindfold off of him and puts it right in his mouth. That was like pretty classic.
Yeah, I guess Mad Max watches the show, so that's cool. I don't know if he's been a fan the whole time, but he said he'd like to jump on with us for a review sometime. So maybe we can bring him on next week. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this season. And Negan's one-liners are classic. He got his precious, Lucille back, so kind of. Then he got taken away again, of course.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see him in his full, Negan mode here real soon. Now that he's got his buttering up to, and hell, Butterfingers in the chat there, but buttering up to alpha now. So this, oh man, God, I don't want to spoil anything, but man, I hope this is gonna go the way it does. But it looks like they're gonna drag it out. I bet you this next episode is gonna be one of them wahs, because I don't know how much further they can really go in the storyline before they give away something pretty epic. So we'll see.
Go ahead.
What I loved is my one-liner from Negan was, what is it? Beta with benefits and a little omega on the side.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, there were some great one-liners. I wonder if he comes up with any of those himself. That was great. That was great.
How'd you like the Testum scene where he gets left with all the walkers and looks like he's dead? It breaks off that little pocket knife from the first one. He's like, shit,
because that's all they left him with. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he comes back with basically another Lucille version, tree branch.
The club. Yeah, the club. Lucille Club.
Brilliant. Perfect Negan,
Always improvising. Always improvising.
I'm not spoiling it. I'm not spoiling it, author Stefan. I'm not. But I'm telling you now, if you haven't watched Walking Dead in a while, it might be worth tuning in this season, catching this.
If you love, it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan is just an amazing Negan. He just plays it very, very well. He very charismatic and just very good at just capturing what Negan would be on screen. So he plays a very good Negan, and yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
And a quick shout out to the timeline, because I wasn't aware of this, and this is something that is not illustrated often, but when we get like an exact timeline stamp, he says right here in this scene, he says, for the last 8 years, I have been working, basically locked up by your enemy. So he's been in that camp under guard for 8 years. So
yeah,
anyway, it's just one of those things that I just had to think about for a second. It's probably pretty obvious though, now that I think about it, that what's her name, with Judith being, the age she is and all that stuff. So it works. Did you guys like the whole thing with I've actually really enjoyed what's his name, the smart guy, Eugene. I've actually always really thoroughly enjoyed him, and I had a friend who we used to do reviews, and he used to make mullet jokes like constantly about Eugene, but I have always loved him as a character because he has these great lines that are just hilarious and complicated as hell and very interesting that he says. Did you guys like his whole thing with the communications, and do you think that this other woman might be a threat?
Oh yes, that is going to backfire. I feel very bad
because he just gave up his name.
Well, the whole thing is that she was like, if anybody hears you, it's totally off. It's off.
Right. She's wanting to keep it a secret, so it sounds like she is the threat, or at least could be a threat
or some. It just sounds very suspicious to me. I don't know.
Another type of thing with the comic, and basically comparing to where the comic's at and the show is at in the storyline. The radio actually is a very important part of the story going forward. And I believe, and I don't know, there's no way for me to tell for sure, but I believe this is going to directly connect to Rick, because in the comics, Rick's still around, obviously. But in the show, the comparison between the two, it looks like it's the direction they're going to go to try and connect the show and movie type thing. So that's my biggest hunch as far as the radio goes. There's some kind of correlation to the bigger picture with that. So I'd be prepared to see a lot more of the Eugene talks. And those are in the comics as well. Him and this mystery person having conversations.
Yeah, I see that going further. So
I'm gonna have to second that with you, Stodub, because that's the first thing I thought of when he mentioned that it's made of the parts from the satellite and all this stuff, and this is going to up our game as far as our abilities to
wider range,
and is our reach. And the first thing I thought of was that means that they're going to probably get a hold of Rick. It's the first thing I thought of. So which is an exciting thing. It'll be interesting to hear him, even if they tease him a little bit and have them somehow find him at in the middle of next season or towards the end of next season, and they actually end up talking, or maybe someone knows Rick or pretends to know Rick. Maybe this woman even pretends to know Rick, or maybe this woman, maybe she does know Rick and has him is going to kill him or something. I don't know.
they got to wrap this shit up. They do. And the radio is direct correlation in the comic as far as the end game. And because, most people know now that the comic is over, it's done. And they're not making any more. Walking Dead's, comic is that's it, finito. And so the only way they can go from here, if they stick to the storyline, is they have to go towards that end game. And, which makes me feel like it's probably a good time for them to start winding down maybe one or two more seasons they could pull out of it, that correlates with the movies, and kind of see what happens from there. I bet you a lot of it's going to react towards that first movie we get, because he signed on for 3, was it, Megan? Andrew Lincoln?
Yes, 3 movies.
Right. 3. So the first one is going to probably determine how many more seasons we get of this show and how they wrap it up, because I know they got to correlate it, because there's still too much Rick talk. That I have yet to see an episode since he's been gone where his name is mentioned at least once.
Yeah, they are. They're still talking about him. He's constantly mentioned all the time.
And if they wanted to get rid of him as a character, they would stop talking about it. You don't hear Glenn every episode, so that there's a reason they keep bringing him up.
Or Abraham, or
right.
What was that?
Coral.
What was that? What was that moment where Judith even tells the story? She even tells the famous story of her dad on the bridge and all that stuff too. There's a lot of moments there. Do you guys feel like I'm dying to know what you guys think of this. I hate this horrible dynamic between Rosita and Eugene. I want Eugene to just be like, get the hell out of my life, you crazy person. Do you do you just hate do you hate it as much as I do, Meg?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's like, just let her go. Who cares? She just
like,
I mean, what was it like 2 episodes ago? She's like, when are you gonna realize that we're just not gonna happen?
Yeah,
okay,
stop making birth charts and like, baby, this woman does not deserve you. Get on with your life, Eugene, for real.
So
like some little chunky lady deserves your love that would give you so much love back. Like, go find her.
It's like it, and it's like he is a ball of entertainment. He is when he talks, he is pure entertainment. For her to not want him around,
yeah,
that's what I have to say to her about that.
Rosita's just not the lady for you. She's just not. She's not.
So did you guys find it funny that Negan was he mentioned how he was kind of turned on by watching Alpha and Beta? Did you guys notice that?
Negan's hilarious. Everything that comes out of his mouth is just, I'm literally sitting there laughing out loud. Like, I never really laugh like out loud, especially by television, and so laughing out loud, like, not even just out loud, like,
I love how we've had a nice character arc with him, and we've grown to love him so much as a character. If you would have asked Megs about Negan about 3 seasons ago, when he did what he did, she fucking hated him. I mean, with a passion. Just couldn't wait to watch him die. But here we are 3 seasons later, or whatever it is, and I love Negan.
I was pretty for a while. Yeah, it was a rough time in my life.
Well, it was definitely a rough time, and unfortunately, I was spoiled. Someone spoiled. They spoiled the car. I knew that he was going to kill, or at least I knew that in the comic they were going to kill Carl.
Everyone knew. Let's be real here. Everyone knew.
Everybody knew he was okay. So so it was common. So I wasn't sure. I just knew that we knew that he was going to get Glenn, and Glenn was one of my favorite characters on the show. Period. And so that was heartbreaking. But for him to double whammy it and do Abraham as well, that was
I didn't know that part.
Crazy thing. So yeah, that was really sad time for sure. There was some interesting moments of this. Do you think they're going to get the Horde? Do you think that's just a kind of a distraction?
Well, let's see. Carol kidnapped one of theirs. Obviously going to try and torture him for information.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So hopefully that leads to something for them.
And she lied to Daryl.
Yeah, that's going to come back and bite her in the ass. You know it will. It's Walking Dead for you.
You could body check me. And he's like, no, that's not necessary.
That's right. Rather than just being up front.
He should have body checked her.
Yeah, rather than just being up front. That was kind of silly. She's usually just more up front.
Yeah, I don't understand. There's obviously some reason why they're doing this with her character, because the trust and bond that's been built between the two, this didn't seem right. So with her acting the way she is, it's a little bit out of character. And I hope they got a good explanation as far as why she's doing it. I mean, I still get it because it's Carol and she takes things into her own hands. I kind of look at it as what happened with Rick. And back in season 3, I believe, they all got this fever, right? And so Carol took it upon herself to pull out 2 people that were spreading the sickness around because people were dying from it. I don't know if you remember this. When they were in the prison. But she went off and burned 2 people alive, basically, and pissed off Tyrese because it was like his sister or something. Anyway. Long story short, Rick kicked Carol out because Carol took fucking matters into her own hand. That's Carol. So part of it I understand, but for her to do it to Daryl, not so much. So we'll see.
Right. I totally get it. And then plus she's Rambo Carol. With the whole terminus thing, she's just...
What is she? I could have sworn she burned like more than There was an episode where she's walking out in slow motion, and there's big fire behind her. Do you know?
It's the
Anyway,
terminus thing.
yeah,
And
that's the terminus moment.
like with the whole Lizzie and the flowers, like she's
been through some shit, that's for sure.
First time I remember seeing Rambo Carol was I was thinking of after Terminus, but you're talking about when she first goes in there and just annihilates everybody. The cannibals. Yeah. Anyway, crazy stuff.
That's actually the comeback after Rick kicked her out of the group.
That's right. Yeah, she was banished. I forgot about that. She was banished.
They weren't even technically.
First time we've seen our group broken up like that since the beginning, basically, because of the whole governor took over the prison thing. Remember? So the whole group got broken up.
Oh yeah.
I remember that. Those were the good old days, man, when it was just you had
So the Horde, I believe if they find it and figure out a way to blow it up or kill them, I don't know what she's thinking. Burn them alive. I don't know what the fuck.
Is it really that big though? Or that is it really that big or threatening at this point though? Or is it
in the comic? They made it look like a sea of zombies, like the biggest freaking horde you'd ever seen in your life.
Okay.
In the comics, that horde does play a pivotal role in the story. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play this, but it should be interesting. And if they do it right and really stick to the script on this, this could be one of the greatest seasons they've ever done. If they do it right, and it could really build some hype for the movies coming up. So I don't know. God, I hope they don't drop the ball on this one. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm.
So far, so good. So far, so good.
You can overlook the couple little mishaps they've had with the little couple scenes.
I don't know about you guys, but like I don't even really pay attention to a lot of the new characters. You know, like the lesbo couple. And
I've had to look up their names because I don't pay attention, and then
right.
even remember them.
The fat guy that's over at the other place camp. I don't care. You know, I have no emotion set in this.
I don't remember their names.
Yeah. Still scarred from what Walking Dead did to us.
Well, they when they did the first time jump, I was on board with them because I enjoyed Magna. As Magna was one of the characters, and she
so long.
Yeah, but then she's turning out to be like it's just like the dynamics between those two, her and forgive me, I don't remember the other woman's name. She's got a British accent, but
lady.
But they hate each other now, so it's like I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to get on board with everybody. I love this show for so long, and I agree with you. It's hard to get on board with all of them, but I enjoyed their whole thing with Magna when they first started. But it's like I think that all those new group, they were a victim of the time jump, and the time jump is what destroyed Fear the Walking Dead. I mean, it's a shame. I guess they did it to bring. We discussed this before. Sorry, I won't linger on it. But they did this specifically to bring Judith into the story, which was great, but it suffered some problematic detail, right? So we have like 8 years by, or how long? I don't know how long the time jump was.
6 years, I think.
What was it? 6?
I think it was 6 years.
Yeah, something like. And I think it hurts the show. Does anybody else agree with me on that?
Yeah, I did. I believe that was a desperation move that they made because of Andrew Lincoln bowing out when he did. I think that was unexpected for them. I think they were thinking he was going to, maintain till the, bitter end type of deal. So I think the whole jumping ahead thing was a shift in thought and process of the show itself, because the show was lingering. They were dragging it out a bit. The Negan war went on entirely too long, and it really killed a lot of people's attention to the show. Like that one season where Daryl's captive for the whole season. It just killed a lot of morale for people that wanted to stay tuned in. And so now, it's trying to make a comeback a little bit, but Rick bowed out, even though he's still connected with the movies. They have to figure out a way to pull it all back together again and have a nice finale for it. So, like I said, everything seems to be going well, and they're building up towards some pretty cool moments. And like I said, the beginning of the season, the worst thing they could do is drag out this war with Alpha and Beta and everything. If they drag it out for 2 seasons, people are just going to, give up. So they need to keep it moving, and they are. So it's good.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what actually, if anything, happens with those. Stephen Walton says he hated Negan then too. Yeah, I think everybody did. I hated Negan, especially when he killed
Glenn.
Glenn was one of my favorites, man. I freaking loved Glenn. Speaking of Glenn, what are we actually even going to get Maggie back? Is Maggie coming? Is Lauren Cohen even coming back? Do you know when she? I know that she had like some other TV show that she was doing, but
right.
Do you know when she's coming back?
In classic Walking Dead fashion, they will probably bring her back in episode 8. Walking Dead every year since season 2 has had this time space between the first 8 episodes and the back 8.
Right.
And it goes from, like basically the end of this month till February. So I think every season they always try to have some kind of cliffhanger that leaves people talking.
Right.
They used to be really good at it back in the day.
Yeah.
The first few seasons. But now it's not so much. They kind of messed that up with Negan. But I think that's going to be their cliffhanger. This mid-season cliffhanger is Maggie shows up last second, like, what's going on type of thing or something. That's my guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her again. She was definitely one of the better characters by far.
I was going to say that too. She's probably going to show up within like the last episode before the mid-season finale or whatever. Right before the last
2 episodes from now, basically.
Right before the last 10 minutes of the episode, and then they'll have her come back like on the next half of.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one. I'm hoping for it too, but I hope they don't drag it out where she only shows up at the end. That could still happen. She's only signed on, I know, to be coming in sometime this season, so I don't know when.
Okay.
Do you have anything about that, Megs? Do you know if she's been signed on for like multiple episodes or anything like that?
For this season, or I know she's been signed for the entire next season. I'm not entirely sure about this season, to be honest.
Okay. I'm looking right on IMDb. It says right here, it says that she is coming back episode 11/1. So it looks like we won't see her until next season in 2020.
Damn it. Really?
So it says 11/1, and then it says, hold on. 2018. Yeah, that's what it says.
Well, they wouldn't give it away if she is coming back this season, I don't think, because it's supposed to be a surprise.
Right. We know for sure that she'll be back at the beginning
next season.
At the beginning of season 11, so we know that, but that's about it.
Okay.
So it's. I think you're right. I think it's very possible that she'll show up before that. It's it'd be cool to see her. Be cool to see her.
Yeah, it's been too long. I think Michonne, she's got to bow out at some point by the end of the season. So obviously, they got to build that moment up. So I don't know. There's a lot of different ways they can go with it, but I think I see the picture they're drawing here, and hopefully they don't cheese it out and they keep it raw, and true to what the comic did.
Am I the only one? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if they do, they'll pull off a great season. If they don't, this season will just be another one of those.
And am I the only one who hates the musical montages? Am I does anybody else see the same thing that I'm seeing there? Because I just feel like they used really cheesy, horrible music for the scene. It didn't work. Am I the only one who thinks that?
I agree. I think Only in very like certain circumstances it works. Only very
It's like they could have done anyway. They could have done a cool montage, which would be funny. But when they add music like that, it's just it makes it cheapens it, and it doesn't feel like Walking Dead. It takes me out of the show and makes it feel like it's not Walking Dead.
The music choices were a little cheesy. I think this episode I didn't like them. At least a couple of them, especially the Negan scenes. There was one in particular. I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it didn't make sense at all. I hated that. I hated that whole thing. Anyway,
well,
it was
made
cool
the whispers not feel as scary as they used to. They got to keep that factor involved.
Yeah.
It depends on which director's directing it, I feel. It depends episode per episode.
Right. Of course. And that's why these bookends are always the best. You know, your first, your eighth, and maybe your one going into the second half, the ninth, and then of course your 16th. You know, all those are always your epic episodes.
Yeah.
And they put a bunch of damn cheesy filler. But you know, a lot of shows do that, so it's cool.
Sorry, my kids unplugged my computer. It's all better.
No, it's all good.
So do you think so part of me thinks that that's a weird underhanded side, like kind of a part of me thinks that whole moment with Negan, really being happy to bow, to bend the knee to Alpha. Part of me thinks that that's kind of a weird agenda thing, but I could be wrong. Is that something that Negan would actually do in the comic? Like actually bend the knee?
God, I almost want to go look if a circumstance happens, because
what's hilarious though? The way
he does it with pleasure. Like he's literally going,
yeah, no.
If you've heard of me or anything, or if my reputation precedes me, but it's hilarious.
Okay, without getting into spoilers, but it'll make your wheels turn by saying this. Okay. Negan as a character, right? Think back to how he was when he was running his show, right?
Right.
Think back to who he was with the ladies and how he liked his empowerment, and he had 7-8 different women, whatever it was, stable, girls. So keep all of that in mind going forward.
Okay.
And how his personality is. He's a ladies' man, and he knows Alpha runs the show. So just, and I almost feel like I'm spoiling something just by saying that. But
that's just good to know. I know that. I know that
Negan as a character, you got to remember that side of him, because we haven't seen it in so long.
Well, that was the one thing that appealed to Carl. That was the one thing that Carl was like, "Wow, this guy's like, yeah, he's cool. He's got all these girls."
Right.
Like that was like the one thing that made him go, I want.
Yep.
Staying here at the sanctuary might not be a bad idea. It's like because he was seeing women, and it's like, he's like a 14, 15-year-old dude who hasn't seen enough, probably, wouldn't mind seeing a few women here and there. It's pretty funny. So yeah, that's an interesting thing.
Author Stefan says Negan's gonna bang Alpha. Ew.
He was talking about how he was digging the bald head, so
That's the bald.
I like that bald.
Yeah, never know.
I mean, her photo in IMDb is not bad. Like she cleans up pretty nicely. So for whatever that's worth.
Are slim in the apocalypse, guys.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I told Megs what happens in the comic. Did I tell you? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was trying to see if it's at the end of the condominium compendium. Talk right now. Whatever the book. There you go. That one. Yeah, 2. No, it's not. But yes, you told me. You did. You did inform me.
I thought I did. Yeah. Sorry for spoiling it ahead of time, but I bet you were looking forward to it too.
I am, very much so. Very much so.
Hashtag Negfa? What? So okay. So what's shipping? We're shipping Negan and Alpha now. Right on.
Yes.
It's good. We were shipping Jermax the other night. Remember that? That was pretty good.
Was I involved in that?
No, I'm just there's been so much going on, like with streams and
Have you
Menace and just all this stuff that's been going on the last few nights. It's just been hilarious.
Have you guys heard about what they might do since we're getting like the Mandalorian in like 3 or 4 hours? Have you guys heard about what they might do with Doomcock's interpretation of it is actually pretty hilarious and probably spot on. A lot of people are kind of seeing what's happening. Did you guys hear about that? What's going on there?
No, sir.
So people are predicting that they might Remington steal the whole thing. So it'll be like, because the Remington Steele story is, you've got what's his name, Pierce Brosnan was the guy who was in that, and he was like but then you had the women were the ones who were the real, they're the women were the ones who were the real one, and so
what?
They have predictions that they're going to be. Yeah, there's predictions that they're going to be. It's going to be
a woman in the suit.
Like it's going to be woke. Like that's people.
The Mandalorian's a woman?
No, I mean it's going to be
Mandalorian's a woman.
People think that it's gonna flop. Like
for fuck's sake!
Sorry,
I can't handle that shit, man.
I'm so sorry, man.
They must be absolutely out of their goddamn minds if they did that. What a way to tank your show right off the bat. Because you're totally misleading your audience if you do that with your trailers. Because we think he has a male voice. They've shown his voice in the trailers. Oh shit.
They think that this is just a speculation, and I think that it's very possible that it could happen. And what they're saying is that he might die and then have a woman take his place, or that like she's like the head of the agency and he's just following her orders or some bullshit.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Anyway, it's gonna be I hope not. I'm gonna be optimistic and I'm gonna say let's hope not. Let's hope it doesn't do that. Let's just hope that it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just telling everybody to if that does happen, then just be warned. That's all.
Oh, you know how many people would feel robbed after paying that money, to get the streaming service? Oh man, I can't wait to watch this.
But then they would just all call us misogynists. Like they would just.
Well, yeah, but you're gonna. You think we bitch a lot, you think the Phantom Menace bitches a lot. You're gonna have like a whole new wave of people that would flip out because people are gonna pay for that show and automatically, first episode or whatever. Okay, so I heard a different rumor. I heard a rumor that
just really quick, if it does happen and it happens in the first episode, at least we would be out only. Well, the first week is free. So anyway, go ahead.
That's cool. But yeah, the rumor I heard, and if they did this, they'll blow the internet up. Like literally, people will go absolute batshit.
If that happens,
and that's if
they woke.
That's the rumor I've heard.
Okay,
is they do some kind of flashback at some point throughout this episode, and you find out that the Mandalorian is actually Boba Fett, and he climbed out of the Sarlacc pit. Now, if they do that, you'll set the fucking internet on fire. You will. People will go out of their goddamn minds. I swear to God. But that would be playing it smart. So we'll see. We'll see how stupid they are.
That's actually an amazing idea. Sorry, go ahead, Meg. Sorry.
We'll see which way they go, which direction they take.
There's a lot of Boba Fett fans out there, and that would just be brilliant to bring your old school fan base back around, start rooting for you again. If they want to pull people back, that would be the great move. But I don't know if they're that smart. If they're stupid like what you're saying, then they're gonna literally tank their streaming service before it even starts.
Well, it's like they can't get rid of Cray KK because of her gender. She is literally invincible. She is literally immune because of her gender, and it's come to the point where they're going to realize after like literally millions of dollars like spent on that, and they're going to realize, and it's going to be too late. Like they're going to, I mean, if they haven't already realized, they're going to realize, and it's going to be too late, and they're just going to be like, oh my gosh. So it'll be hilarious to see if that does happen.
Well, I've heard that they've dropped $300 million in filming Rise of Skywalker. Now I've also heard they've dropped another $300 million in reshoots of Rise of Skywalker. And I also know they're going to drop at least probably another $300 million in advertising for Rise of Skywalker, and especially that last couple of weeks of the push. So they got to make $1 billion just to make some money on that damn movie. I don't know if they're looking to just do a wash, hope to come out even. It's going to be an interesting play. So they fuck up their Mandalorian show. We could see the very, a pivotal end as far as Disney's power and hold over movies and entertainment.
Dude, it would be crazy to see that. Oh my gosh, this is a real try. We're witnessing history in the making, you guys. This is really interesting. It's crazy to think about. I mean, 2-3 years ago when The Force Awakens was out, would anybody have thought of actually releasing a television show during the time? It's like you're releasing a TV show on your streaming service at almost the exact time that you're releasing a movie in the theater. Like you're literally competing with yourself, and it's just bizarre. But it's oh my gosh, this is just
it is weird. I know, and it's an interesting play. And like I said, they depending on how they go with it, kind of like The Walking Dead, how they go with it, they could really be successful or they could really tank out. So see how they play it.
Right.
Yeah, this is it's crazy.
Sorry, Megs, got off topic.
No, that's cool. That's totally cool. Yeah. Anything else big going on? That
I'd just like to say, hail Ghostbusters! Glad we're getting some good nostalgia going on that now. Looks like Bill Murray's in, so I'm super ecstatic about that, and I'm fingers crossed Rick Moranis is too, and he's like a surprise.
Rick Moranis, what? That's cool. So has he just barely been reconfirmed as well? Because he quit acting for a while, right? Rick Moranis said that he was not going to act anymore. So they've actually pulled him out.
I don't know. I don't know.
I wonder if they bring back Annie Potts, dude.
I think they're going to bring her back. Yeah, because I think they've got everybody on board as far as cameos from the last movie. Original cast. The only one that's truly a mystery now at this point, I think, is Rick Moranis. And Rick Moranis, it's going to take a lot to get him to come in. And even if it's for a cameo,
he's got to be in there at least just for a minute, dude. You got to have Rick Moranis in there.
Yeah, if they pull that off, that's another one of those things where they could really shoot Ghostbusters back through the roof again. Rick Moranis showing up in that movie will get people talking and have them, So who knows? There's a lot of cool things coming up the next few months for us because Ghostbusters come out next year. They're already cranking that sucker out.
It'll be interesting to see. I'm cautiously pessimistic about this because, and don't get me wrong, I actually am really excited that Dan Aykroyd is one of the main writers. Of course, he's always been the heavily involved in the writing of this, but they are bringing, by the way, in case anybody is curious, they are bringing Annie Potts back, so that's exciting. I've always just loved her. I think she's hilarious and she's really fun. She was. Yeah,
they just announced Bill Murray for sure a couple days ago, so now we know he's in, which we all figured he was, but they finally confirmed it.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Bill Murray.
Hail Bill.
Finn Wolfhard from the Stranger Things is in this.
Okay.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking right at the IMDb for the Ghostbusters thing, and it looks like you've got Paul Rudd, of course. They mentioned that a while back, but you've got they've also got Finn Wolfhard. He's one of the kids from Stranger Things. He was also in the It chapter 1 and 2, which was
I'm guessing
fun.
Paul Rudd might play like the son of Egon type of thing or something like that. Who knows? They're gonna have to fill in for Egon somehow.
Yeah, he would be great. Paul Rudd will be a great addition to that. I love that Sigourney Weaver. Everybody's back, dude. This will be interesting to see if it's good. I hope it's. If Dan Aykroyd's being the head, if he's listed as the head writer, then it's going to be a good movie. I'm worried that they're going to just be too far in the back. I hope that they involve Venkman and Ray a lot, because that was my favorite part about those movies is Venkman and Ray. Like having Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd together, like the two of them were just money.
Oh yeah, especially in their heyday. That was during their comedic gold time. You know, everything they touched was a moneymaker. So to see the two of them back together again is priceless at this point, because you don't get that anymore with these old school actors from the Saturday Night Live days. Old school Saturday Night Live cast.
Good stuff. Yeah, I just hope that they're. Yeah, I hope it's. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty interesting. That's cool.
What do you think, Megs?
Oh, I was just looking because I have this Entertainment Weekly cover back here, and it's from 2014 actually, and it's got all of them back on here, the originals. I don't know if they were talking about doing one back then or not, or I can't remember back then. It was a long time ago.
I don't know. The remake came out 2016. Okay. So if they were talking about anything the year or so before that, I think it was that movie. Now they were scheduled to cameo in it. Of course, that was horrible. They butchered their cameos, but
that was so bad.
So bad.
It's
I'm excited. I hope that they just don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
When they do things like this, there's always that fear. There's always that fear that they're going to take something that you love and they're going to fuck it up.
Well, because they've done it so often. We did it with Star Wars. They're probably going to do it with. It sounds like they're going to do it with Indiana Jones, at least from what I.
Well, they did it with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We should sit out in front of a movie theater during the Knives Out and just sit on the curb right there in front of it with a sign that says, the director of Knives Out ruined my childhood.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some holes, but no. Indiana Jones.
Gosh, Knives Out needs to flop. I mean, it has so many stars in it, so that it'll probably make some money, but I have, some people are saying it's going to flop, and everybody in the chat, if you're listening, please help us, help the Phantom Menace. Let that movie just die. Let that movie die. Don't go see it. Don't support it. Tell your friends and family not to support Knives Out. It needs to do horribly in the box office. If it does well in the box office, that will literally give. I did a whole video on this. That'll literally give any studio to look at him and have Lucasfilm even look at him again. And we don't want Lucasfilm even looking in his direction. So. Anyway, that's just my opinion. I'm sticking to it.
Amen.
All right. And yeah.
On that note, can't wait for next episode of Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's definitely taken a turn. It's definitely taken an upturn. I'm psyched for it now. I hated the first few episodes, and I'm loving it. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, hit or miss there for a bit, but it looks like they're on the right path. So let's hope they don't disappoint.
Negan has my heart, so.
Oh, wait. Someone said, author Stephen Walton said Negfa. Instead Alpha and Negan and Alpha together. That's the Negfa. I'm gonna make that. Hey, Stephen Walton, I'm gonna make that as a meme for you, and I'll tag you, and hopefully you'll retweet that. I'm serious. I'm making that right now.
Nice.
I'm gonna make it right now.
Make sure to tag Walking Dead and everything.
Yeah, I'll tag you. I'll tag this video in it, and we'll post it.
Cool.
All right. Well, I think we could probably wrap up tonight's episode of the Jolly and Megs Show, unless you guys have something you would like to add.
And I apologize again for Jolly not being present tonight. He is celebrating, and he probably has had at least a half bottle of tequila, and a couple prostitutes have probably shown up by now. So I need to go make sure he's okay. Go Hawks.
All right, go Hawks. Tell Jolly I wish him well, and to take a shower before I see him again.
Thanks, everybody. Anybody who's actually listening, in case you're... Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Anybody listening, my brother-in-law and I just did a huge, crazy analysis of Midway, the movie Midway. By the way, if you have not seen that movie, it's fucking awesome. Excuse my language. Sorry, everybody. But it's effing good. It's historically accurate, like 100%. My brother-in-law he's a historian. He is the guy could teach history like every year of history. Like you could take your entire history curriculum through this guy. He knows everything about history. He says it's spot on. It's perfect. And we did a deep analysis of the movie on my channel, Fanaddicts of Film. Check it out if you want. It was a fun stream. And for the first hour, he just goes balls to the wall on talking about how he makes fun of it too. He pokes fun at it. It's really kind of funny. Rants for a bit about it because there's some stupid stuff in the movie. But in general, it's a damn good movie. If you haven't seen Midway yet, check it out. It's a good flick.
I wanted to see
really
that.
cool.
No,
it's like they, instead of going woke or any of that stuff, they just went historically accurate and just did it justice. Did this history on it right, and me being a musician, to me it was incredibly fun because it turns out that in this story, well, in the historical situation, musicians were the ones who actually it was the Navy band. It's the Navy band. These guys are the ones who helped break the code to actually win the freaking Battle of Midway.
Cool.
And they actually worked on the code, like breaking the codes and helping the U.S. to actually beat. I mean, and we were the underdogs in that. We had 3 aircraft carriers. They had 9. And so it was literally, we were up against a juggernaut and we won. So anyway,
that's awesome.
Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, and happy Veterans Day, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Toast to all the veterans out there.
Grandpa Chuck was the veteran. And
both my grandpas were.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So happy Veterans Day to all them veterans out there across the world. We appreciate you and your service very much so.
We do. That we do.
Yes, we do.
America.
And, I think that concludes our of the Jolly and Megs Show. And with our fine guests Ben here and we're talking about zombies and shit. So yep. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see you
Thanks for having me. Have a great one.
Yep.
Tuck and roll.